Hello, hello! Welcome to our live stream. I am Bailey from Glowforge.
I'm Nick from Glowforge.
And thanks for joining us today, everyone. It's good to see you all here. I've got the stream up myself, so I can see that you're all waiting. Please, if you can, if you're logged into YouTube, say hi in the chat. Tell us where you're tuning in from, and I'd love to hear if you already have a Glowforge and you're here to make a project along with us or see what we're making, which is really cool today. Or if you are thinking about getting Glowforge and you're here to learn more about it and have your questions answered. Either way, we're here. Feel free to drop any questions you have about Glowforge into the chat as we go. We've got a couple Glowforge experts available to answer your questions. We'll also be, taking a look periodically and answer here too. So
should we dive right in?
Yes. Actually, wait.
Okay. So no then.
So no. Yes, no. I did want to, before we get started on this really awesome project that we're doing today, mention it is just a few days past kind of Black Friday weekend craziness, but we actually decided to extend our Black Friday offer this year. I don't know for how long, but right now our really good deals are still going on. So if you are thinking about getting a Glowforge, I cannot emphasize more. This is the time to do it. These are the best deals that Nick and I have. Nick and I have been here for pretty much the whole time the Glowforge has been on sale.
Yes.
And we've never discounted them before. So this is the first year. So right now, if you're looking to get a Glowforge Pro, they are $1,000 off. The Glowforge Plus is $500 off. And the brand new Craft Laser, our Glowforge Aura, is $999. So that's about $200 off. And also, when you buy on glowforge.com right now, you'll get 3 months of our free premium, which is our software. We'll probably show that later on,
absolutely.
Or if you haven't seen it, there's lots of other YouTubes about it, but it gets you access to millions of designs and fonts and clip art and things like that. So you can make very easily within the app. And if you get a Glowforge Pro or Plus, you also get a $250 gift card to glowforge.com. And if you get an Aura, there's another way to get a $200 gift card, which is that you can trade in another cutting machine. So if you've got an old blade cutter at home, it has to be something that you can plug in. It can't be like a pair of scissors, but
nice
you can actually mail it in and get a $200 gift card. So lots of awesome offers going on now. And I hope you're able to get a Glowforge if that is what you are here for. I'm just going to check chat real quick. We've got tons of people joining from all over Michigan and Peoria, Illinois, and Round Rock, Texas, and Indiana, Niagara Falls. Sounds like mostly people. Oh, here's one person that does have a Pro with a premium membership. Nice.
I see someone here from North Pole, Alaska.
North Pole, Alaska.
Wow.
That's so festive.
Amazing. Welcome. Yeah, right? Feels very appropriate. Yeah.
Cool.
I don't think I knew there was a North Pole in Alaska, actually. Is that an official town?
Yeah.
I'm not missing something, right?
No. But I bet, I think I've seen it like on the Travel Channel.
That's
if I'm
cool.
not mistaken, I think they kind of take advantage of the theme.
I mean, I could imagine. Yeah. I've always wanted to go to Alaska. I haven't been yet, but at some point, maybe next summer, we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, should we kick it off?
Yes.
Let's start. And I thought we'd do something a little different for this live stream and go a little deeper into a project, like something start to finish that's a little bit, I don't want to say complicated, but it's not just a catalog print that we're pulling from the Glowforge catalog. It's got some different elements from elsewhere to create something that's pretty unique, I would think, and something that's highly, highly customizable, personalizable, and very, very giftable, which seems perfect for this time of the year. And I've seen versions of this around recently, so I don't know if it's kind of trending, but the versions that I've seen are all posters. And what they effectively are, I'll show you this lit up in a moment, a constellation, a star map, from a specific date, time, and place that you want to recognize or celebrate, presented in a nice way as a poster that people can hang on their wall. And I thought, well, let's take that same idea, but elevate it and apply the Glowforge to it and make it just that little bit more special. So what we've managed to do is take that same idea and then backlight it. So you get an illuminated constellation in here too. Now, what I don't know right now is with all the lights in the studio is how well this is going to show. I think it's going to work better if I face it away from the lights and use the phone camera to do it. So let me give this a shot. Bailey's going to get that. You want me to do it like this?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to plug it in and you'll see. Hopefully you'll see.
Oh, yeah. No, that worked.
That works pretty good? Yeah.
My gasp. I didn't realize it was going to be so vivid.
It's pretty good. And obviously, if the lighting's lower, it's even more effective. But I think it's really fun. And there's a ton of detail in there. For this specific one that we made, I added somebody's name and a date down there in acrylic too. You can, of course, customize this in however which way you want, but I'm going to kind of go through the way we created this, the different ways that you could approach the same project, and hopefully give you some insight as to the way you can create projects with Glowforge, and of course how Glowforge works too. So like Bailey said, any questions you have at all, throw them into chat, and we're going to go cooking show style with this one, but explain exactly how it came to be.
You know, I actually have one of these that doesn't light up. It's a,
really?
it's a print on tin. Yeah, my husband got it for me on Etsy.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, now he's going to need to get to work apparently.
Yeah, right. Well, he has the star map now.
Yes.
Exactly, yeah. All right, well, we're going to dive in, I think, with the first part of this, or the most important part that I think. Now, just a note, this project can be made with either Aura or a Pro.
Or Plus.
Or Plus
All
too.
of them.
Yes, any of them. There will be a difference in speed and capability and things like that. So there's some different ways you might approach the project, which I'll explain as we go through. And a core one to highlight initially is for the Illuminated style map portion. This is made using a clear material, clear acrylic. Now, unfortunately, Aura can't cut clear acrylic. It's just the nature of the technology in the machine. It's the same with any diode laser that's out there. And so if you want to do this project with an Aura, what I would normally suggest is that you cut that piece of acrylic maybe with a knife or something like that. And that sounds kind of scary, but it's really easy. And I just want to show people really quick.
Sorry, what part is the clear acrylic?
So it's underneath the black.
Oh,
here.
okay.
Yeah. And now we'll get into some of this minutiae in a minute, but yes, the clear acrylic part is the only piece that might give you a little bit of problems if you're using an Aura.
Yes.
However, if you were to go to a big box store or buy a piece of clear acrylic from the proof grade store, all you would need to do is take a sharp craft knife and a nice sturdy straight edge like this one and score this material in the way that you want, kind of like if you were cutting glass, if anybody's done that, and then just snap it over a table.
Okay.
And that way it's going to cut really cleanly and you'll be able to stick it right in your Aura.
So yeah, even though the Aura can't do the cut for you, it's just getting it to size basically. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, as I was thinking about this though, and I was developing this particular design, it kind of came to me that what you could do, rather than making a box like this that we did, which of course you could if you want to, you could just go to IKEA or Michael's, any of your local home stores. I was going to say haberdashery. That's the wrong type of store. A place that sells picture frames.
Just go to Diagon Alley, the potion shop,
that's not a word you use over here.
Haberdashery.
But pick yourself up a shadow box frame, like the IKEA Reba ones or something like that. Take the glass out the front, and then you can just use that as your piece of clear material. And that way you don't have to worry about any of this at all.
Right.
So I wish I had thought about that before now, so I could have demonstrated that. But that would be a way to get around the whole clear acrylic thing.
Yeah.
And essentially what we're going to do is take our piece of clear acrylic, which is like this. Right now, this one still has the masking on. And I want to make a note about the masking. People who are new to Glowforge might not be familiar with proof grade materials, which is what this is. So to touch on that really briefly, it's basically a range of materials that we sell for Glowforge. They're optimized, tested, they're going to guaranteed to work, and they're perfect. But they're also masked with a protective coating. And for acrylic, that typically stops the scratches on the surface because it's a really high gloss finish.
Right.
However, for lighting, what I like to do is keep it on there as a diffuser because it helps to soften the light.
A frosted look.
Yeah, absolutely. So I didn't take the masking off for any of these projects. I kept it on there, and I think it worked pretty well.
And we're getting some questions specifically about acrylic
and
the Pro cut acrylic.
Yes.
So with Pro and Plus, you can use any color acrylic, and with the Aura, as Nick mentioned, you can't use clear or white acrylic or very light color, like very light pink. There are kind of advanced techniques, i.e. putting on different kinds of masking and using different speeds and powers than you would normally have to, that you can use to engrave clear acrylic with the Aura, but for cutting, no.
Yes.
So
unfortunately,
I liked your little scoring and breaking technique.
I honestly use it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes if I want just a simple cut and I want a rectangle or a square, even on the Pro, you got to put the material in and make your design and stuff. Sometimes it's just quicker to use a knife. It feels
so powerful.
Yeah. It seems like a scary process. It's really not. But to take our piece of clear acrylic and then kind of transform it into our star map, I thought about different ways that we could do this, and I tested a couple out. And the easiest one that I found that I think is going to work for most people is to simply take a piece of black cardstock like this. And the important part here is that the light doesn't shine through it. And just use some spray glue, something like this. Super 77 is my favorite, but you could Mod Podge this too if you wanted to. And then just spray glue it to the front of your clear acrylic like this.
Oh,
so you do end up with a piece of black material with the clear behind it.
Show this close up so you can see.
So this is the back of the clear with the paper still on, like we said. And then this is the front.
You can
with
see
just a piece of
been engraved or engraved,
Yeah,
I guess.
absolutely.
That's
And
cool.
so basically the process, and this is the crux of this whole project, I'm just going to take a little flashlight here so I can show you, is we are going to engrave through that black material there to reveal the clear acrylic behind it, so the light shines through. Simple, right?
Yeah.
Really simple.
I
And
think
of course,
the light in the box really must concentrated enough to show through. It's so vivid. It
yeah,
works so
it works
well.
really
yeah.
well. Works really well. And of course, there's millions of different ways that you can approach any of these projects. Like I said before, here's a couple of other examples that I've tried. These are 12 by 20 sheets of clear acrylic. Again, masking still in the back. With this one here, I actually used black acrylic paint, and I used a roller to roll it onto here to make a black surface. This is pretty opaque, actually. This worked well. And I think the second coat, you get the same result as the paper, but it's not perfect, unlike the paper.
Yeah.
And then this one, I used spray paint. And this one, I don't know if you can really tell in those lights, but it's not really opaque at all. It really didn't work very well. And I think I'd have to do a whole bunch of different coats.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
You see that? To get a good result. So I think the paper version is the best way to go.
Figured it out.
Yeah.
Plus a little less messy. I mean, I guess the spray glue. Anytime I have to use glue, I'm like covered in glue. It is yikes. But
yeah, go careful. Be clean if you can. But yeah.
Let me get to a question coming in here. Someone's asking, can you please explain what materials are available for the Aura? Yes. Yeah. So the Aura and the Plus and Pro are all lasers, but there are different types of lasers. So the Aura is a diode laser. So it has a few restrictions. So like we mentioned, the clear or white light colored acrylic is a limitation of the Aura. But other than that, it can cut and engrave on most of the same materials as the Plus and Pro. We do make our proof grade materials thinner for the Aura, and also smaller because the bed of the Aura is smaller. So we have those that are sized for the Aura. Are you pulling up?
Yeah, I got a few examples here that I can share to give people some clarity. So here is a piece of acrylic that's sized for the Aura. So that's 12 by 12. You can see it's a vibrant green.
That will fit right in the bed.
Absolutely. And then this is the 12 by 20. So this one here is sized for the Glowforge Plus and the Pro. Now, technically, you can put this in the Aura using the pass-through slots that are in the side, and you kind of slide it from one side to the other into the bed. You just couldn't print across the entire sheet in one go. But you could absolutely buy material this size and use this size of material. So there's your size difference for the bed. Same height, as you can see, just different width.
Our new material, so what you will be shipped if you buy now, some of the stuff that we have around has older labels on it, I'm noticing. But our labels do now say which machines they work on. So that's the QR code that the camera in your Glowforge will read to tell it, this is Eco Thin Green Acrylic. But you'll notice the emblems down there, the icons down there of Glowforge Aura and Pro, Plus, and Basic. That means this material we expect to work. We promise will work on all of them. Yes, not we expect. It definitely will. But so most of the same materials as the Plus and Pro. So things like proof grade, we have hardwoods, plywoods, leather, acrylic.
There's a piece of hardwood right here that I'm showing, and you can kind of see that the wood grain underneath here. This is a piece of hard maple. So this is solid wood, really high end. Little raccoon riding a bicycle there, courtesy of Magic Canvas.
That's so cute.
And then again, this masking. And what this masking does is it protects the wood against these charring marks. You see these? This wasn't masked when it was cut, and so you get these little chars around the edge. But for here, the charring ended up on the masking. So when I peel it off, the wood underneath is going to be perfect.
And beyond proof grade materials, so beyond the materials that you can find on our website or in our retailers like at Joann or Michael's, you can use other things with your Glowforge with any of them. So things like cardboard or cardstock or slate, or if you walk into any craft store, cork, a tortilla. Lots of organic materials work really great with lasers. So lots of fabrics, felts, things like that. If you walk into any craft store these days, there'll sort of be like a blanks section where you'll find, pre-cut little shapes or cutting boards or, coasters, things like that. So all those kind of things should work, and you're able to test them and then save the settings. So if you find this, cutting board that you love, bamboo cutting board from Michael's, and I can't guarantee they're going to keep that same cutting board all the time, but you can program your Glowforge app to know the settings, and then you can use that as one of your regular materials. Okay, one last question, then I'll let you go on with your project, I promise. Could you put a colored cardstock on top of the acrylic that the Aura can't cut to try to use it? I think it's a little more complicated than that. I think it might need to be that you put what this person is asking is, if the aura can't cut clear acrylic, can you trick it by putting like paper or something over it? It is something like that. There is a similar technique.
Yeah, that definitely works for engraving.
Yeah.
So if you were to take a piece of clear material, and it could be acrylic or glass, and apply it would need to be very even coat of paint over the top. So spray paint or something like that would work.
Yeah.
You can basically get that paint to absorb the energy from the laser.
There you go.
And then mark the surface of the material. And there's a few YouTube videos around here where people are starting to explore these techniques.
Yeah.
I think it was known within the laser community for a while, but that was kind of a closed niche community. And I think now that Glowforge offers a diode laser, there's more people talking about this in a public way. Yep. So I think you'll be able to find some information. But I've tried it. It worked pretty well.
Yeah.
But only for engraving. I wasn't able to get it to cut.
Sure.
Now it could score the material. And so maybe, and I haven't tested this, instead of using your knife to cut the material like we described, snapping it, you might be able to score it. Yeah,
snap.
That could work.
Just an extra step, I suppose.
Yeah.
But now, if any of you are considering a Glowforge, another great place to look are in the Facebook groups. There's people who are thinking about getting one or already have them. And for materials especially, there's one particular Aura users group that every day there's people saying, oh, I picked this kind of acrylic up on Amazon and I'm going to test it. And here was the result. And so that's a really great place too. I know that they were engraving on some clear acrylic. Yeah. So they were showing some different techniques for that.
It's amazing, really. The community, ever since we've been here, since Glowforge started, has been so strong and supportive of each other. And we're still a relatively small company. There's only so much that we can do at a given time. Right. And we're super grateful for the community and the work they do to do tests and things like this, because we learn as much as they do. This product is still pretty new to us too.
Yes.
And so we're still experimenting, figuring out the best way to do things. And those communities are awesome resources.
Yeah. And then the last thing that people like to experiment with the Glowforge, especially around the holidays, is food. So we do always recommend that if you're going to engrave on food that you eat, that you should reserve that Glowforge just for use with food. So a food Glowforge and then another Glowforge for cutting acrylic and stone and things like that, or engraving on stone. We're not cutting stone around here. Not yet.
Not yet. That would take a big laser.
But I've seen pumpkin pies and macarons and graham crackers and pancakes and all sorts of things. So sometimes I think it's just for show, but which is fun. Yeah, gingerbread houses. Or I mean, you can also make, stencils for hot cocoa or coffees or whatever, or little cake toppers, lots of food accessories. So
yeah, that's true. The acrylic material is perfect for that, actually, because it's washable and waterproof.
Yep.
You can make that kind of stuff.
So if you don't want to sacrifice the whole Glowforge for use on edible food, you could do the accessories instead, and that could be safer. Sorry. Okay, one more that I promise.
No,
if you use a larger sheet, can you use smaller sheets?
Yes, 100%.
I'm glad you understood that question.
For example, here is a sheet which is, what is this, like 5 by 10-ish, something like that. This is the same size that we sell hardwoods in, but this is a piece of acrylic, so like this. And these are official Glowforge materials, and both of these will work within the Aura or the Pro or Plus. So yes, you could absolutely put something smaller in there, no problem at all.
You could even, because of the camera, which is in the lid of all of Glowforge, is when you close the lid, it takes a photo of the bed. So when you're working on the software, you can always see exactly what's in there. So you could even put in a tiny thing, I mean, this isn't tiny, but a coaster, and then you would drag and drop your design right onto it. So it's a great way to use every little piece of that material that you buy.
We could show that really quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for people who've maybe not seen the software before, let me pull this up.
It's blinking too much.
It's blinking? Oh,
yep.
Oh yeah,
Excuse us, apparently my
tech difficulties.
computer is...
Is that the same computer that's been doing that for a long time?
No, this is a brand new computer.
Oh no, it's just Nick.
Yeah, it seems to be plagued with this.
That's what I thought. I thought you got a new computer.
So just to demonstrate this, I've got an offcut of our light basswood plywood. It's basically the center of this box design that we were working with. You can see the remains of the label here. This is still good to print on. So I'm just going to open up my machine, pop it inside. And then if you can see my software here, it's scanning. And then momentarily we'll see the actual material itself, or whatever you put inside the bed, appear in the software, just like that.
Ah.
And
so cool.
This is just a piece of wood, but this could be anything. It could be the coasters, it could be a pencil, it could be a flask. And then essentially what you can do is grab your design, drag it around, and put it exactly where you want it to go. And so that way, if you're working with something kind of small like a coaster, you have a very visual representation without needing to measure anything or make jigs and fixtures, and you can drag and drop the design exactly where you want it to print. It also makes it handy if you want to print multiple versions of the same thing too, because you could take 4 of those coasters and put them in the machine at the same time and print 4 at once. So it makes it really easy. Drag and drop.
Love it. That's how you get the. Have you seen when people engrave their laptops, like, and they use the apple as the main thing, like Snow White holding the apple or whatever?
It's fun. It's really fun. Yeah. Why not have fun with that kind of thing? Excellent. All right. So let's dive into the next part of the project, just to explain exactly how it came to life. This part is really easy, but we can leverage a tool called starmap.didiendo.com. This is the one that I... Don't make me say it again. I apologize in advance. I meant to put the links to these things in the description of the live stream. I forgot. Ran out of time. I will do it after the live stream. So if you want to refer back and see any of these, you absolutely can. But this is a star map generator that I found that works really well for what we're doing here. There's tons of these online. Some of them are free. Some of them are not. The quality varies. This one is not free, but I would consider it inexpensive. I think it was maybe $1 or $2 to download the star map. And it gave me a lot of options to customize and create something that I was really interested in. And essentially, all we have to do is pick our location. So I could pick Seattle here and then do this one. And you can see how the map adjusts. And then I can pick a date. Let's go back in time. I'm going to pick something somewhat arbitrary, but let's do, here we go, November 15th. And you can see how that adjusts. And then we can even pick the time if we wanted to as well. And then down here, we have all these different options to turn on and off the various features. Let's see if I can make it a bit bigger so people can see. There you go.
This is super cool.
So we can turn off the constellations if we want. We can turn off the grid, which is what I liked to do. We can turn off the frame, which is also what I did because we created our own frame. We can change the shape from circles to rectangles, change the size. I would recommend doing the large size just so you have the highest quality star map that we can engrave. We can enable commercial use if we want. We can remove the background if we want. There's all sorts of different things that we can do in here.
Really neat.
And basically, you customize it to whatever you want your star map to look like.
Yeah.
And then download it. And that's going to create a PNG.
Okay.
And a PNG is an engravable file. It's just like a picture, basically. You might have heard of JPEGs before. PNG is similar kind of thing, but it can have transparent backgrounds.
So does it come out and does it output in a way that you needed to like reverse it to make the part that you wanted engravable? So does it engrave the whole background? Did you reverse it, inverse it?
I didn't have to because I could do it in here.
Oh, okay.
I can basically remove the black background and set all the stars and the lines to be black.
Okay.
Let me see if I can do that really quick to show you. I think it must be down here.
Oh, they
grid,
found the
stars.
Link. Thanks, Glowforge.
Oh, perfect.
People.
So yeah, I can set the stars to be black like this, and I can set the constellations to be black as well. So I can basically get the thing to be exactly how I want it to look. Sorry, I zoomed in, and so the website's breaking a little bit. But once that's ready, we can download it. And what we end up with, if I go to here, is a PNG that looks just like this. And there's our star map of our specific date and time.
That is so cool. So Rachel, I see you asking, is this the premium version? He's using a separate tool called Star Map and using the premium version of that. We don't have a Star Map built into Glowforge Premium yet.
Yes. I think it would be a nice thing to have. I don't know if they would allow us to.
Yeah. But you are using premium version of software. Yes. If that's what you're asking, some of these tools, I don't know if you're using anything that's a premium feature yet, but
so far you wouldn't need to use the premium tools at all because we're just going to drag an image in and then engrave it. So there's nothing there that you would need premium for. For some of the additional things that I would like to do with this, you could definitely leverage the tools in premium. But there are other workarounds too.
Mitch asks, what about blocks of chocolate? Well, yeah, we've done chocolate before. It kind of depends. It depends on the, makeup of the chocolate. Some of them have more like waxes and different additives in them and stuff. But definitely we've engraved on chocolate bars of several different types. We've also used Glowforge to make molds and that we pour in those chocolate melts to make we made little rockets or things like that.
That works really well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The thing I noticed about chocolate actually, because we did some tests on this for our video shoot when we were launching the product, I tried these dark chocolate peanut butter cups and they look great once you've engraved them. Yeah. And then 10 minutes later, they look... They don't look so
like
good
oil
anymore.
Has seeped up
it's
from
exactly
inside
like
the
that.
chocolate.
Yeah. So if you ever wanted to serve something like that, time is of the essence.
It's kind of like how food photographers aren't even using real food. It's always like glue and weird stuff. It's like, what? Someone's asking, where can I find the membership options? I think you're asking about for Glowforge Premium. So Glowforge Print, the app that you use to print, that's always free and you don't ever have to pay to use that, but it just has very basic capabilities like dragging the image around and resizing it and things like that. And then with Premium, that you'll get all these other tools, the fonts, the clip art, the stamp maker, the what else is on there? The puzzle maker,
Yep.
the magic
Outline
canvas
tools.
AI tool, the outline
Oh, yeah,
tool. The outline tool is my favorite because I don't know how to do that in other
It's
things.
really useful. I mean, that's what I used to make the circle
Yeah,
in
yeah.
here. So,
So that how that works is, oh gosh, I hope I say these numbers right. I believe that if you pay monthly, it's $50 a month for premium, but you have the option to upgrade to a annual membership for $249 a year. So that's more like $25 a month. And I do know that you can do that by contacting support if you missed your deadline or you said, I don't need it right now. You can contact support at glowforge.com and they can hook you up with that annual price.
And I think the other thing that we forget to mention about premium a lot is the access to the catalog.
Oh, of course, yes. That's a big one. Yeah,
it is a huge one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think people forget about this sometimes. The catalog is a huge repository of print-ready designs.
Yep.
A lot of them are actually made by people just like you, our customers, that submit designs to us, and they can potentially earn royalties from doing that as well, which is really nice. A little side hustle there.
There's a lot on
and there's
there.
a ton of different things. It used to be pretty small, but it is exploding.
We could show.
now.
Do you have the?
Yeah.
Do you have it up right now?
I can open the catalog.
If you have a Glowforge, by the way, we're doing a cool project for the holiday called Project Print a Toy, where we have partnered with Toys for Tots, and you can print these designs we've selected that are Christmas giftable toys, holiday giftable toys for kids, and join us in donating a whole bunch of toys this holiday season. So if you saw that at the top, that's what that is all about. But yeah, look at all these.
A whole bunch of different things. Everything from, I mean, there's paper dolls here. There's wooden houses for your Christmas scenes. There's really complex projects like this one, which is a book nook. It goes in your bookshelf and looks like a mini room, which is pretty cool. And then really simple projects as well, which like these little deer, very very effective, but really simple. And these are great for your scrap actually as well. Sometimes when you have projects, there's little bits of scrap that are left behind and you don't want to throw those away because of course material costs money. And some of these projects are perfect for using those.
Nick, could you show like, could you search maybe for leather and show some leather projects?
Yeah.
Ricky is asking, how well does the Aura do in cutting leather, such as earrings, watch bands, or wallets? Ricky, I think for Aura specifically, we have a eco thin leather. So it's a thinner version of our veg tan leather, which is the leather we've developed for Glowforge. So yeah, thinner works great. It engraves really beautifully. It is the Aura.
One just in front of you there, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is an Aura made wallet here. So this has an engrave here on the front, and all of this was cut with the Aura. All of the stitch holes are cut also. That's something that I think a lot of new leather workers don't consider, is that you can't just stick a needle through leather very easily. So doing the stitch holes with putting them within the design means that you can just easily kind of lace it up.
And there's actually, we talked about premium earlier. There's a brush feature in premium where you can generate stitch holes like this to create your own designs from scratch. Which
That's
is cool.
super cool. This right here is a cute engrave, and it is a children's drawing that we had a piece of paper of. It was on a piece of paper as children draw on paper. Put the paper in. Oh, here it is. Put the paper in the Glowforge. And our trace feature kind of captures it, digitizes it. Then we resized it, obviously, to make it the right size for the wallet and engrave it on there. And that's the same feature that you would use to do, like, you know, grandma's family recipe on a cutting board or anything with handwriting is really fun. All right, just like to digitize and capture. So
for this time of year, when you're thinking about something really custom, really personal, really special, the trace feature is a really fantastic one. Even if it's just the tag that you use to wrap your gifts, you know, to be able to engrave your handwriting or cut it out and just present it differently in a different material, it has a lot of impact that way.
You know what would be fun if we had maybe for the next stream. I'm signing myself up for homework. But I bet there are a whole bunch of Glowforge owners who are using the trace feature to do unique things with holiday cards.
Yeah, that
would be kind of fun to see.
I definitely want to explore pop-up cards one day.
Oh, yeah.
Now that's me signing up for something terrible, really.
Angela's asking if there's a Glowforge class for beginners. Angela, not that we teach or offer right now. We do this. We're doing it about twice a month right now, so you can feel free to always ask questions there. But there are a lot of Glowforge owners who have created either series on YouTube. Angie Holden is one that comes to mind. She's got a great, I don't know if it's a class per se, but she's got some great intro videos. But if you do Aura for beginners or anything like that on YouTube, you'll find some really great ones. I also know John K. What is his website? He has an Aura.
Yeah.
He has a Glowforge class, and that's kind of like alive. Maybe he's here. Oh yeah, here we go. Chad is saying it. Yeah. John K does glowforgeforbeginners.com. There you go. So check that out. He is someone who has been working with the Glowforge probably since we first shipped them in 2018, I believe.
Yeah.
He's had them for years and he's familiar with all of them. So he's a really great resource, but there's several. So
I'd also be interested because we're very flexible with these live streams and we're trying to understand what it is that people actually want to see and want to watch. And so we did an unboxing for the first one and then we did a Q&A for the second. This is a more advanced project.
Yeah.
But if there is something specific that you're looking for, please put it in the chat or put it in the comments if you can, because we definitely read those. And if there's enough ask for that kind of thing, we'll tailor a live stream around topics just like that.
yes.
So feel free to share.
Yes, this is for you all. Well, Glowforge cut cotton fabric, asks Linda. Yeah, definitely.
Wax
jeans
canvas works
too.
really well.
Oh, wax
actually.
canvas.
Yeah. If you want to cut, that works really, really nicely.
Just because you get nice, like sealed edges, basically.
Yeah, because cotton can fray a little bit, but it definitely works. I used it when I was button tufting my couch at home. I needed a bunch of circles that were the right size, and I didn't have a hole cutter, a hole punch.
Yeah.
So I just cut the things. The hardest part is getting
using your Glowforge for upholstery. You know, when you're just doing
mean,
some casual home upholstery.
Right? That's what's so wonderful about it, because you can literally apply it to anything that you're doing in your life. I from one day I was doing the fabric on the couch, replacing the buttons that my dog and child had pulled off. And then the next day we just built a new island in the kitchen and I needed to put the door handles on the drawers. And so I made myself a little simple jig that outlined the holes so I could get them in the right place.
Oh, I just do 3 or 4 holes.
Just hope for the best.
Work. Oh man.
I'll fill the rest with cork.
Nick and I have different making techniques.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
All right.
Let's keep going.
Yeah, I'm going to show just a little bit more of the software for those of you who may be interested in what this looks like. So I'm going to start a new design with this one. So let's go back here. We're going to create. And what we're going to see here is our dashboard. This is the first page everyone's going to get to. And it's where you can see some catalog designs and then all the designs that you're using. And then there's folders to organize your work as well. But we're going to choose create a new one. And I'm going to create a blank design.
Okay,
this
great.
Is where you could start a trace if you wanted to as well. And here we're seeing inside our Glowforge Aura. So that's the piece of material we put in. And I'm going to hit the plus button here to bring in another file. And what's cool about the software is it's kind of like a compositing tool. So you can bring in files from all different places. And here I've got my star map. We're going to load that one in here. It's going to process for a little bit and then stick it right in the design. And then we can drag and drop, just like we said before, and arrange it exactly how we want it to look. And if I want to as well, take really precise control of it. We have a ruler down here and we can type in a specific size if that's what we're looking for. And I don't really need that for the map itself right now, but I will do, I think, for the square part. So I'm going to choose the square tool here, bring this out. I'm going to pick a size, let's say 10.5 inches, something like that. Well, that's not going to quite fit on that material, but that's fine. Let's go with 8 instead. Let's pretend we're making a mini star map. Then I can grab my other design and bring this in. And there's this nice snap feature here too. I don't think you can see the lines right now, but as I'm dragging this around, it's centering automatically within the space.
That is so
everything
nice.
is really neatly aligned.
Yeah.
And you can see how quickly it comes together. Let's get the circle tool. This is going to be our little outline for the star map. Now our size here was what, 6.798. That's a weird number. Let's not do that. Let's
Nice
just go down to
number.
6 and make it easy. Let's make our circle 6 so it matches. Let's bring this across here. Then I'm going to use the outline tool, which is this one here. And this basically offsets another line from this one. That looks a bit thick, so let's adjust this to 125. I can make that a little thinner. And then I can group these too. You see how they're separate lines? I could grab them all and move them away like this and then group them. And that way these are treated as one object. And you can see how everything kind of snaps to place. And at this point, our design is basically ready to go. Now, to make the first part with our, remember the black paper that was spray glued onto our clear acrylic, we just need the star map. So I'm going to take away the circles, if I can grab them. Looks like they're underneath the star map. So I'm just going to go and get those like this. The square here, arguably we might not need it if we have our piece of material ready sized to put inside the aura.
Got it. That's just to make sure it all fit.
Yeah, but sometimes it's really useful to have those things as guides too.
Yep.
This is a good tip. So if you know the size of this piece that you're going to pop in there, you can set that size here. And then once you're dragging and dropping your design into place, basically use that to align it to your material, just like that. You see how I would snap it to that top left corner or the bottom right? And then this is our design basically ready to go. Next step, we've got to pick our materials that we're going to engrave. Now for this one, we're engraving cardstock, but we want to go all the way through the cardstock. Typically in engraved setting, you don't want it to go all the way through your material. So this is where we're going to get a little sneaky.
Oh.
The easiest way I found to do this is actually to pick an acrylic setting here and use the acrylic setting to engrave the card. And that way it's going to go all the way through.
So you're basically using a more powerful setting than you need for the material
Absolutely.
to create a deeper, thicker engrave that goes all the way through.
Absolutely.
So that rather than just engraving, it's still an engrave, but you'll get the light effect that you want.
Yeah,
okay, clever.
It's kind of like a cut. And maybe some people are out there asking, well, why don't you just cut the lines then?
Yeah.
Now you could, but there's another process you have to go through because this is a PNG. I don't know if you remember, It's an image that we got. And unfortunately, images can only be engraved. They can't be cut. And this is where we get into vectors versus bitmaps, which is maybe a little bit more technical than we should go for this particular live stream, but that is the reason behind it.
Yep.
Now, you could absolutely transfer or transform this PNG into a vector, and then you could cut it. But to be honest, I just don't think it's really worth the hassle. And this engrave, as you saw, turned out beautifully. So I just don't think we need to. And so, yes, I'm just going to load this in here. We have our engrave setting here, and we have our other print steps right here. And you probably noticed that these started to appear on the left-hand side as we added the different elements to our design. And they basically represent the different pieces of what we're trying to create. And it means that we can treat them separately or individually. Let's say these circles, we wanted one of them to be a score. We can set it to be a score. If we want the other one to be a cut, we can set it to be a cut. If we don't want to do anything with them at all, we can set them to ignore. And that's what I would recommend you do if you're going to use one of these things as a guide, like we described, using that square to make sure your design's aligned. Well, let's keep the square here in your design, but let's set it to ignore like this. So we can still see it, but it's not going to print. And this way, the only thing that's going to print is going to be our actual star map itself. And that is this last step here. We can drag this up to the top just like this, and that makes Glowforge print that bit first. We can drag it to second place. It'll print it second. So you have some granular control there too.
And some people really prefer to always do, I think the best practice is to always do the engraves first and then the cuts.
I would say so.
With some materials, this won't be an issue here, but with some materials, when you do the cut, like imagine you're cutting a circle out of a piece of acrylic, the circle will like drop down a tiny bit. And so then if you're then engraving on that, technically your focus could be a little bit crisper if you do it after. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a good tip to have. And then, of course, in here as well, we've got different types of settings to create different types of effects. We've got draft photo and SD photo here. I'm going to choose SD because I want a little bit more quality there. Yeah. But of course, here you can also access your custom settings. Bailey mentioned before about getting material that you found at one of your local craft stores or rock from the sidewalk or something like that. You can basically go to manual settings here, enter the settings you like, and then save them in exactly the form that you want for future use. So if you end up liking engraving on slate coasters, you can save it in there, and it's always ready to go later on.
We have a quick question. What's the max height of an object or material you could trace on the Pro? So I think you're asking how big of an item can I put in and then use the trace feature to capture that, digitize it, and put it onto another piece of material. The Pro has a crumb tray in it, the Plus and Pro, that's substantially larger than the one in the Aura. So if you remove that, you actually get up to 2.5 inches of bed height. Is that right? Is it 2?
2 inches.
2 inches with removed. Okay, 2. Yeah. Sorry, not that last half. 2 inches. So in order for something to be captured, and it needs to be 2 inches or less. So you could get some decent sized things in there. I'm trying to think of what.
I do wonder, because if it was just the trace part that you wanted to do, so not the engraving, just the trace, just capturing the image itself, you could technically get that thing closer to the camera by having it higher, because the laser head itself is the thing that would get in the way for stuff that's 2 inches and more. What I don't know, because I've never tried it before, is how close you can get to the camera before it gets out of focus and kind of gets a little blurry.
Right.
Because that would dictate how well it would trace.
I see what you're saying. It could probably technically be higher if you did it in 2 steps and then removed the item.
I think so. But let's say around 2 inches just to be sure. We know that works.
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully that helps.
Will there ever be folders for if you have a lot of layers to change settings for them all at once? Oh, interesting. Well, our product team is hopefully listening
listening
and watching this.
It's
We'll
a
mention
great
that.
idea.
That is a really great idea. I like that. So yeah, if you have a complicated design, I know exactly what you mean. Like I keep using this as an example, but it was the last major thing I made was this Taylor Swift picture frame. And I had like 25 different little Taylor Swift engravable clip arts.
Right.
And I had to go through and change them all individually at one point. And that would have been really great if they'd all been in a folder. Yep. So I like the suggestion.
That is awesome. And then, of course, for here as well, if we wanted to add some additional personalization like we talked about before, with the premium, we have the text tools here. So we can add in a date or a time or something like that. And then I can also style this too. So we could choose a semicircle text. And then I'm not entirely sure the best way to go about doing this. Let's see if I can kind of do it on the fly. But we can adjust this curve and we could probably get it to fit around this circle too.
You can adjust the curve?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Just like this. Now, I think my font is way too big for this particular design, to be honest.
But it's so stylish.
This one could be for you, Bailey. Oh, I can't click on this right now.
Yes.
But yes, we can resize this. We can adjust the curve. There's a lot of cool control that you can do. And of course, you could create this text in any software that you like if you prefer using something like Adobe Illustrator or Inkscape, or maybe you're a Canva user and you do social media posts there. Anything that can output a JPEG or an image, you can engrave it. If you can output a PDF or an SVG, you could cut it or engrave it. So you get a bit more flexibility there.
So if you've got a custom font that you want that is not one of the 100 or so fonts, that I don't know how many fonts we have in there, but there's some fonts.
Yeah, there's a lot. I think it might be 2,000.
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
well, if you have a specific font that's not in the Glowforge Premium, you can bring that in by way of a design, but you can't bring in the font and then design with the font in the app. You'll have to do that in another program, bring it in an engravable format, like Nick was just saying.
Absolutely. And then one last thing, just to point out, once we're here in the software, once we've dragged everything into place and we're happy with the way that it's looking, only thing you need to do next is press print. And what's going to happen is the Glowforge, either the Pro, the Plus, or the Aura, will send the little laser head, the bit where the laser comes out, across the material and take a bunch of measurements and things to figure out exactly how to focus everything and get the best possible result. And with a lot of other lasers, especially the older types, you have to do all this manually. You kind of drag the head across and you've got to use a little spacer and focus these things. And it's fiddly, and it also introduces the opportunity for human error. I don't know about you, when I'm in the creative mood, I'm like a little bit spontaneous, not the most careful person in the world, so I make a lot of mistakes. The robots are a lot better than I am at doing things like measuring things carefully. So this is really helpful.
I can hear the Aura sort of.
It's processing, it's
whirring
over
away.
There. Yeah. And it's going to do some alignments, some checks. And once that's ready, it's going to tell us exactly how long it's going to take. Now, this is a long print on Aura. So I think this will be a couple of hours.
Oh, so I hope you guys have some time to.
Yeah. And that's why I think for a print like this, because it's a really special thing, you're not going to be making these en masse. This is a one-off thing that you make for someone special. So a couple of hours is probably worth it.
Sure.
If you ever wanted to do these in bulk, you want to switch to the Glowforge Pro or the Plus. This on a Pro or Plus would take about 30 minutes.
Wow, so that's a big difference. Yeah, people do ask us a lot about which machine is best if you're running a business with your Glowforge, and we're always going to recommend the Pro for that because, you know, we have a little starting a business with Bailey series that you can find on YouTube too. But one thing that we talk about there is kind of developing an ROI equation for each of the items that you'd be making. And a big factor of that is the print time, because even though you're not physically working, you're just pressing the button and it's going, the print time is going to affect how many of these you can pump out in an evening that you can dedicate to hanging out with your Glowforge. And it can be 2 or 3 times the time on the Aura versus the Pro for something complex like this. So you'll want to consider that when you're making your business plans.
Absolutely. And then I'm recognizing the time here, and I know a lot of you stuck around for a long time. Just to button up the rest of this project, I think I might skip over the making of the box this time around. But if people are interested in how this came to be, essentially I used a box generator to create this. But we could go over that in more detail in another live stream. So let us know if you're interested. But I wanted to talk about the lighting really quick. Because let's say you went to the big box store like I suggested and get a shadow box frame, which I think would be the right way to go about doing this, to be honest.
Yeah.
All you would need to do is buy yourself a set of USB LED lights. Now, LED technology has changed so much over these years. It's so inexpensive now. It's super impressive how inexpensive it is, in fact. I'm just going to pull these out just to show people what it looks like. But this is the kind of thing that you can get
These are neat.
They're really cool. Yeah.
These and also the neon lights that you can buy now. The
Yes.
plastic. They're not
So
real neon.
That's what I use for this one. Actually, this is
Oh,
neon, so
really?
I could show you inside.
Nick's always
Oh,
got
yeah.
some kind of a light fixture these
Just
days.
going on.
You too.
So it's got a sticky back, so you
Uh-huh.
can stick this to your project. Super flexible. It has this sort of silicon diffuser over the top, and you see where these black lines are. You can cut it too to make a custom length.
Just
And
at
it's
the black lines.
Just at the black
I
lines,
see.
yeah. But it's just a USB powered thing. So I'm going to connect it to this little power brick that we have here, and that lights up just like this. And of course, you can bend this around however you like. You can scrunch it up really small. You can stretch it out. And what I did was peel off that blue tape and just stick this tape all the way around the inside of our box like this. And so what happens when we lost that one. when I plug it in, you get illumination on the interior of the box. And then all we have to do, if I take our previously engraved piece and drop it in there, I don't know if it'll show up under the studio lights.
Not as well. Only in the top. It's not diffused as evenly as it was before.
Or if we put it down like this. Does that show up better?
Yes, it does. Beautiful.
And so this
See
is
our
the way
big
we-
mess on the floor.
Yeah.
It's
It's
just
real
like,
behind the scenes moment there.
it's just like that Julia Childs photo. Have you seen that?
Oh,
Where there's
yeah.
like 5 men on the floor underneath her, like holding like the next pot that she's gonna work with. Yeah. We don't make anybody sit under the table. We just throw everything down there.
And I'll show you this one too. So this one looks really nice from the outside, of course.
It
but
does.
if you take the back off and look at the inside, look how rudimentary that is, but how effective
But it looks
is,
really
too.
even and nice,
Right?
from the outside.
Yeah,
So
and this
hey,
is just, again, off the
Yes.
shelf. And these strips of these LEDs run you about $5 or $6 up to about $15, depending on the length and the color and things. You can get multicolored ones with remotes and things
Yeah.
like this too. They're awesome. I would suggest, even if you're not looking to do this project, pick up a couple so you have them around, just kind of sitting in your craft corner so you can stare at them until that
Yeah.
project idea comes to mind, because they're really fun to play with.
if you move a part away from the cut area, will the Glowforge try to cut the object?
Great
You
question.
can use the part that's outside the bed as actually a way to like ignore that element. So if you drag that part of the design off of it, it won't try to do that. But if you're, and I hope this is correct. If you're, say you've got a circle and it's on there a little bit wonky, so part of it would get cut off, then the whole thing will not cut. Is that-
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
So it won't just cut part of the circle, and then it's like, oh, bummer, that part was off of the cutting area. So it's just a weird shape. No, so it does built in to protect you a little bit from that.
And I could show you that really quick if you like. If we go back to the software really fast, currently this particular box here is set to ignore. If I set it to be a cut, you'll see it changes to a bright red line. You see that? The bright red line means it's available to cut. And then as I move it over the edge of the bed, once it goes off the edge, you see how it changes? That's telling me that this line can no longer be cut. So I got to move it back into the printable area, just like that. So it's pretty
Nice.
visual, pretty easy
Yeah.
to see. Yeah. But you're absolutely right. You can basically use the outside of your print bed as a staging area.
Mhm.
So you can have all sorts of stuff just strewn around, and then you're focused.
It
just
does
on this
make
middle bit
your
here.
make your left hand list of items a little complicated if you do it that way.
Yeah. Keeping it clean can be good.
I just realized a material that we didn't mention this whole time is our new iron-on material.
Oh yeah.
And I just did a project with it for the first time last week, and I made sweatshirts for my husband and I for a little like local holiday event that we did, and it was so fun.
Yeah.
I've never done it before. I had to even buy an iron. It wasn't even an iron. I still don't own an iron with which to iron my clothes. I bought like the heat press.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You
which I
dedicated
think
to craft.
it was
not
like
fashion.
$12 for the heat press, and then
Wow.
I got the silver and gold of
Okay.
this.
Uh-huh.
And how you use the iron-on with the Glowforge is it needs to be specifically non-vinyl laser safe iron-on. So we make that. A couple other brands do too. And you do your design everything backwards, reversed, and do it as a score. And then you are able to peel off the excess. And Nick does a great. I actually watched a video of Nick. I meant to tell you that. I watched one of the instructional videos. I was like, this is so helpful.
Excellent. I'm glad.
And it was great. So I highly recommend that material too. That's a new one for me. So I was really excited about that.
So not to make this even more like involved, but I was actually thinking about for this one, rather than doing the acrylic letters like we did on here, using the iron-on material to create some lettering that I can iron onto the paper. Because I'm pretty sure that because this paper's got a little bit of texture, and this is basically a heat-activated glue, I could just glue the iron-on material to the paper and get really, really intricate text that says exactly what I want in that vibrant color. because of course we can't print white with a normal printer.
Yeah.
And if I'm using black, I got to create some kind of sticker or something like that.
Yeah.
So I thought this would be a fun thing to try. So
I wonder if you could also do an iron-on of the reverse of the star map in a big circle, and then like if you have a colored shirt underneath, you know what I mean? So
oh, interesting. Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
Sounds like your project for next week, though.
Yes, tune in. Just kidding. Please discuss the rubber material for stamp making.
Oh.
Yes, that's really cool. So that's another one you want to make sure when you're buying the material that it is a laser safe rubber. Those are fairly easy to find on Amazon. At least I don't know about craft stores, but we don't have a proof grade version. But yeah, laser safe rubber. And what you'll do is kind of just what I was describing, as well as that you'll need to. Well, no, I guess you don't flip your design. You need to inverse the part that you would engrave away. So do we have the stamp here
it's just
somewhere?
in front of you there.
Oh.
Luckily, there's a stamp tool built right into the software.
Yes.
So you don't really have to think about it.
So if you have premium, that's one of the tools. There's a stamp tool. So here's our stamp example. So here's the front of the stamp, which shows you what the stamp will result in looking like. So imagine this as, the file that you upload as a PDF or what have you. And then you use the stamp tool to inverse. You can see my dog scratch on my hands. Really cute. Inverse that design so that all of this part, all the light part, rather than engraving, it is engraved away on the stamp material. So see the depth there, and that's a stamp. Isn't that amazing? And it does, as it engraves it away, it just turns into like dust. So you do need to be prepared to.
It's kind of messy.
Yeah, to wash or have like a little brush to brush away the dust, but you'll need to wash it away. But
yeah, a little stiff brush.
Super cool.
Some dish soap in the sink.
Custom stamps are a really amazing gift. Actually,
Oh, yeah.
I should do. I think I said this last year. You can probably watch last December streams. I'm like, I'm gonna make custom stamps for everyone. They love them. Just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, return address stamps, things like that.
Yes.
Super giftable. If people just move house, it's a really fun housewarming gift to give them
Yes.
as well with their new address on it. But it's really easy to do. I like making modular stamps too. So we have like a little skeleton head, and he has different hats that he can wear for different times of the year. So those are two different stamps that we've made, but really easy. And in a pinch, you can also use that stamp making tool on something like acrylic to make yourself a stamp. You just need an ink that would stick to the acrylic, or you could use a block printing medium or something like that.
Yeah, that's what Julie was just asking. Is it a hard material for stamps or rubbery? So you can do like acrylic stamp. Yes. What we used here though is actually like a rubbery, it comes in. Sometimes this is a gray one. I've also seen us use an orange one that's real rubbery. So yeah.
Since we're talking about stamps, I picked these off the ground because, well, talking about hard stamps. This here is a piece of leather that we debossed with somebody's initials, and we use the stamp tool to make a hard, rigid stamp here. So same process, just text, click the stamp tool, it inverts it, engraves away the negative space to create this sort of three-dimensional thing, and then we just pushed it into the leather. And you could, apply ink to this and use it for a printing press, but I think it works really well on here. We also tested it with notebooks, things like moleskins that have those thick padded covers. A little hard stamp like this, put it in vice grips for a little while. It leaves a really nice impression for something super pristine.
I love
and
it.
Giftable.
I love it. Oh, so fun. Yeah, the stamp material is, I don't know, just feels like extra, like, wow. That feels like something that you have to order online from a company to make you.
Be able to make at home.
Yeah, exactly.
From scratch. Yep, agreed. All right, how are we doing for other questions?
I think we've been taking them as they come in. So I think we are, I think we've gotten through all of them. I guess I should mention again, I don't know if all of you have been here since the beginning, probably not, but if you've tuned in since the beginning, I wanted to mention we did decide to extend our Black Friday deal. So I don't know for how long, but right now at least we have really good deal on all of the Glowforge printers. So our Glowforge Pro is $1,000 off. The Plus is $500 off, and the new Aura Craft Laser is $200 off. So it's $999. And we also, if you buy on glowforge.com, you'll automatically get 3 months of free premium tools. So we've been showing you the premium software a little bit, so you'll get that for free for 3 months. If you do get a Pro or a Plus, you also get a $250 gift card to glowforge.com. And if you get an Aura, excuse me, frog in my throat. If you get an Aura, we have a cool trade-in program going right now where if you've got some kind of cutting machine at home, it does need to plug in and turn on, not like a blade cutter or anything like that, but like a vinyl cutting machine or something. If you send that in, you'll actually get a $200 gift card to whatever retailer you purchased the Aura at. So either Glowforge, or if you happen to get it at We're at Best Buy now. We're at Michael's now. We're at Joanne.
Mhm.
So yeah, so lots of great deals going on. Those are all available on glowforge.com. If you have any questions about the deals, you can always email hello@glowforge.com or sales@glowforge.com, and they'll be happy to walk you through any of those. But I know like like November, December is probably the months that I use my Glowforge the most. I think that we see that with our users.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Which makes sense, right? You know, it's a super giftable season. There's decor for your house.
Yep.
There's gifts for other people. There's ways to present those gifts too. There's all sorts of stuff.
Anytime I'm having a party too, I'm always like,
yeah, right.
Yes.
Perfect time for a party. I noticed in the chat here, Julie mentioned that you were late. Don't worry, Julie. This will be available after the fact if you do want to watch it again. And for those of you out there, if you check the live stream playlist that we have on YouTube, I think there's between 30 and 35 live streams that we've done in the past, covering a whole range of different things. So feel free to browse through there in case there's something that catches your eye.
Kathleen's asking, what's the weight of the Plus? The Plus and the Pro are the exact same size and weight and footprint or what have you. I think they're about 70 pounds.
Yeah.
So I would always recommend that you lift that with another person. I have picked them up myself, but it's pretty unwieldy and dangerous for yourself and for the machine. So
yeah, I don't want to drop that.
Don't do that. Yeah. And Bob is asking, how deep can you cut with the laser?
Great question, Bob. This would depend on the machine and also on the material. So typically somewhere around 1/4 to 1/2 inch is probably the thickest material that you could cut. Something like EVA foam that's a little softer, you might be able to push that a little bit, but you're going beyond the capabilities of the laser to focus on something that's that high. So I would guesstimate 1/4 inch guaranteed, up to 1/2 inch on the soft material. With Aura, there's a little bit less laser power there, and it's going to take multiple passes. But Aura can cut the thick plywood that we sell here, which is just a hair under 1/4 inch thick. I think it's about 5 millimeters, something like that.
Yeah. The proof grade sizes are like eco thin and medium and thick rather than rather than inches or any of that. So all right, well, great. So this was fun. I tell us in chat or however else you like to tell us things, Facebook video or writing in or whatever. We'd love to know if you enjoyed kind of walking through a more complex project like this. We can still do the Q&A throughout if you can handle the tangents. But I thought it was really cool to see this project kind of from start to finish. And it's a unique one and one that I think most people can think of someone they'd love to give it to for, the day. I mean, I'm like, the day I got my dog, what did the stars look like?
I would like to think so. And what I like about this project is all the different ways that you can approach the same thing and achieve the same look. So I thought it illustrated that pretty well. I realized that maybe we got a little deep than some people wanted to go, but I think that's great. I hope you enjoyed it. But like Bailey said, if you're looking for something different from the live streams, let us know so we can adjust.
Okay. Well, it was wonderful to have all of you here. Thanks again for all of your questions throughout. We love being live with you, even though, we can't see you. We can feel the enthusiasm through
energy.
The screen.
That's true.
Yes. So this was really fun for us and we will see you in a couple weeks.
Thanks everybody.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.